You're listening to Sit, Talk, and Listen podcast with your hosts, Payroll Rob and Zadie Bauer.
Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome, everybody, to Sit, Talk, and Listen, episode 43. Xavier, welcome.
Troy Polamalu.
Oh, that's a good 43 right off the hop. He's giving it to us.
It's the only 43 I can think of, really. I've been racking my brain for God knows how long.
It's the only 43.
I think I wanted to, if we can go right to Tony this time.
You said right to Tony this time?
Because I have, okay, so there's, for some reason, like deep from my like 8-year-old self, there's a blues player named Mike Van Ryn who wore number 43.
Mike Van Ryn, 43.
And maybe, was Ivan Barbashev number 43? No.
No. Ivan Barbashev was 49?
Yeah, maybe. But Mike Van Ryn, I wanted to see, or like a Jeff.
There was
Finley.
Jeff Finley.
I want to say Mike Van Ryn.
Not on my list. I got a quick list pulled up of
But Troy Polamalu is by far and away the best number 43, right?
Yeah.
What? Maybe a baseball pitcher I'm like sleeping on.
A baseball pitcher you're sleeping on. There's a couple. There are a couple. Dennis Eckersley.
He's no Troy Polamalu.
He said he's no Troy Polamalu. You also have in the pitching category Curt Schilling.
No, he's number 38.
Well, I don't know what this list is telling me then. Did he wear 43 at a point in his career?
Maybe he was like rooting for another team wearing their jersey in the stands.
Could be. And that you got TJ Ward, great 43, also a defensive player in the NFL. You're going to tell me, look, you got some connections to TJ Ward, so you got to put him up there.
His brother is Teron Ward, good friends with my old roommate. Best friends.
R.A. Dickey.
Dicky.
He was the, what did he throw, the knuckleball? Wasn't that R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer?
Jeez, Bob. I didn't know you were going to be dropping R.A. Dickey.
That's all right. I'm going to go ahead and call it an episode. We're going to see you guys next time. I'm going to end on that note.
But Troy Polamalu is and always will be the 43.
Kendrick Perkins. Also
God,
the
worst, bro. Like, the world will be a better place when he passes.
There's a lot more names that are number 43s than I thought that I would have even been able to recognize. You know, because some of these lists of past weeks I've looked.
Ever Google Mike Van Ryn?
You gotta ask Tony. I'm not capable. I'm trying to host this show. I don't know how I can possibly produce it and host it. So what is Tony looking up?
Mike Van Ryn, hockey player. And it was either him or I don't know why that name's.
So Mike Van Ryn is also kind of funny because he spells it Mike normal, Van normal, Ryan is R-Y-N.
Yep.
Jesus, Canadians. So what am I trying to figure out about him?
What number he wore for the Blues.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, Tony?
This is a deep cut, and I probably will be wrong. You could probably find it on.
I see a number 26. I don't know if that was his number, just like NHL.com has number 26. I don't know if that was his number with the Blues. Let me have Tony looking at a specific number for the Blues.
Yeah.
He said, yeah? You think whenever Tony was looking stuff up that you'd carry us a little bit more?
Well,
why did it say, okay, thank you, Google, for nothing? AI Overview says Mike Van Ryn wore number 302 for the Blues.
That's pretty good. We'll remember that when we get to episode 302.
Shout out.
All right. Well,
Mike
anyway,
Van Ryn.
That's the 43s we have on the docket today. It's Troy Polamalu and there's everyone else. And if you're not,
there's Troy Polamalu and there's everybody else.
I mean, it is. It's by far and large. Troy Polamalu, game changer.
Dude, one of my favorite things was watching him time a play, a snap, and just jump over the line and maul the quarterback. I think that was
awesome. And
the most entertaining.
The tragedy of it all is he was not even the best safety in his own division through his time.
Wow.
And that's what
there was some great.
I'm not
safety
saying
play.
that's
no,
what people are
great.
saying.
That's what people are saying. It's not what I'm saying. It's what people are saying.
Well, I am saying it. And since we will never get to episode number 20,
Yeah.
Ed
Shouts
Reed, which we really missed a lot of good numbers before we started this.
So, in retrospect, we'll go back when we get into the triple digits. We'll go back and do the low
101,
numbers.
102, yeah.
Yeah. Because there's not a lot of triple digit. How long until we get into triple digit athlete numbers? That's a good question. Because
like
like
in real
all
life.
numbers start to get retired.
We'll be dead.
I mean, sure, but what do you think? If let's just say NFL is still going 200 years from now, is there enough great players at all the single digit numbers they start to get? They
They
been
might
retired.
switch to emojis before they go to triple digits, like in this kind of world we live in, you know? Like
But there's not as many different emojis as you can do number combinations. Like once you get to triple digit numbers, you know.
like what they like that guy has the flame emoji as his number.
But then he'd be the only flame emoji on the team?
That'd be pretty cool,
gotta be. No, not really. Touchdown flame emoji.
No, you would just say his name.
Well, yeah, but sometimes they'll say touchdown number 43, and then they'll say his
Troy
name.
Polamalu.
Sure, right. But I'm just saying now he'll say touchdown Troy Polamalu flame emoji. He's wearing the flame this week, Troy. What do you think?
I mean, if you don't think Troy Polamalu is the best 43, you didn't watch much football, and that's fine. You missed a good era, and I'm sorry for you.
That's fine. There was another good 43 football player early on in this list.
Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed?
Troy Polamalu is the number one on this list for best athletes who wore number 43 for this article I'm looking at. You had, where was it at? Larry Brown, number 43 for the Redskins, is number 5 on the list.
That will get us banned.
Well, that was the team that he played for. So, sorry for the history. Sorry about the history.
Bob is unknown colonizer.
Yes, me, colonizer, white guy. It's in my past, I guess. What can you do about it?
I don't make the rules.
I don't make the rules. So, yes, episode 43. Glad to be here. Today is May 29th, 2025. Almost the end of the month. We made it through Memorial Day weekend. We'll get
I don't know anybody with a birthday today.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or if you really are just saying.
I don't. I mean,
I feel like a lot of days go by that I'm like, I don't know anybody with a birthday today, and I don't have to acknowledge it.
No, I'm just saying like May 29th just seems like, let's get to June.
But I feel like May 30th and May 31st are usually dates that stand out to me each year. Like, for some reason, there's always something going on right at the end of May.
I will say this, May is a month every year where I can't remember if there's a 31st day or not.
I feel like I always remember May as a 31 because May 31st, like I just was saying, for every year there's something that feels like it's standing out to me about that date. I don't know.
You gotta love the month of 31 days. It's like an extra day for rent.
Yeah, it's just all trying to play catch up from February, fucking us over with this 28-day bullshit.
But May 29th might be one of the... my whole point is it's like it might be one of the worst days of the year.
Okay, put it on your lists, folks. May 29th might be one of the worst days of the year. It could be, very well.
Especially today, 4 baseball games. Like, I mean,
yeah,
not
Thursday.
a lot going on.
And it's like it's a short week because of holidays, so this, like, being a Thursday feels like a Wednesday. It's like just the way that it all plays out.
Hoopla.
May 29th, suck it. But we're here recording an episode of Sit, Talk, and Listen live as we do. No edits here. Straight to the right to wax.
And if we did, maybe we wouldn't get as scrutinized. But, we all are about honesty in media.
Yeah.
Truth. Last week I was at a 2.7. I'm probably at a 6.6 today. So I'm bouncing back. I've been sleeping in, getting a little waking up, walk in the park, and it's been great. But we'll get to that.
Every day, walk in the park.
So what are you at today?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm probably at like a 7.2. But I mean, honestly, there's not many days that I feel like I'm below I'm rarely below a 5, honestly. And that's just like, because I know how low I can get at times. So it's all perspective for me.
You just said you can't get that low.
Well, I'm saying most days. Most days, it's rare that I'm below a 5. But like, there's times when it's like, if I got like a hurt, like I'm sore, or like I actually got a pain because I like pulled a muscle or something, then I might wake up feeling like a 3. Or like, if I'm hungover as hell, which is not that often, but sometimes it happens, and then I might be at like a 3. But even still, I kick it, and then I'm back up to at least a 5, just on my regular like not aching, not paining. I can hear, I can see, I can taste, I can breathe. Like all these things, if they're doing, and I can walk, I can be mobile. Like if all these things are working good, and I blew out the knee, dude. So I know how bad it can be when I'm in not being able to be my fully mobile self. And like, so that time in my life was like every day feeling like a 2.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I just
I'm
have
mobile.
perspective all day. That's all.
I'm
So I'm just saying, it's hard for me to feel like I'm below a 5 if I don't have any aches or pains or health issues going on. So I'm good.
Mine
Yeah,
just
definitely
gets me when I'm
7-2.
in the trenches, when I'm like going to bed at 2 in the morning and waking up at 6:30, and like by the 4th day in a row doing that.
Yeah, you can't be
and
doing all
having to
that.
talk to these people and all this hoopla. It's like that's when I start to.
No, that's the thing about what you're doing with your job, man. Is emotionally taxing. Like it's also physically taxing. Like the walking around back and forth,
I
running
don't
around.
mind that. Like I wake up and walk every day.
Yeah, like I mean, it's physically taxing. I just didn't want to leave that part out of it and be like, "Oh, your job's only emotionally taxing," but it is highly emotionally taxing, especially in the roles you're in now. With being in the management position and whatnot. So yeah, May 29th, just a day that kind of feels like we can suck it, according to Xavier. But we got some national days. Are you interested?
Yeah, maybe this will change my perspective on May 29th.
It may, but when I glanced at this list earlier, I don't think it will change your perspective. It's not super promising. So we got Learn About Composting Day today.
Nope.
Next.
Why?
Why? It's good. Composting's good. If you got, food or other materials that you're going to just get rid of, if you can reuse it and make it work for the the nutrients of the stuff around you, do it. Hell, learn about it, Xavier. That's what today's for. Learn about composting. He said, next.
If somebody put a book on my thing that said composting, right? Remember what I did in Indiana? Wish I had a fireplace so I could throw this in there. Remember
Is that what happened? No, I don't remember anything about that.
No, this guy was, it was really a low moment for me.
Well, we're here to share.
I was
honesty in media.
freestyling at a party in Indiana, and this dude was really into it.
Oh,
and he wanted me to listen to his mixtape.
This guy said he was a producer. That's right.
So he brought me his mixtape, and I said, I wish I had a fireplace so I had a place to throw this thing. I don't know if I said that to his face or not.
I like how National Composting Day triggered this memory. I'm into it. He said, I was going to burn this guy's mixtape. I was composting.
Literally, like, burn it.
He said, literally, burn it.
Not like burn it, like, so I can listen to it myself.
Yeah, you're not burning it onto your computer and then put it on your MP3 player and vibe to later.
Were you there for that?
I was there for the exchange. Yeah, you were quite perturbed with this guy.
Well, because
it was hilarious because he was not picking up that you were perturbed by him. So he's like in high spirits and like just talking at you, and you're kind of like, yeah. But as soon as he would kind of like turn away and talk to somebody else for a minute, you would just turn and look and be like, "Who's this fucking shabozer?"
Shabozer. I just think that sometimes, well, I guess especially back then, younger Nick. I feel like some people would like try to use me. Like I felt like this Jam Oak, like I just would be like, what the hell is this guy gonna do for me?
You're like, I'm not a circus monkey. I'm not here to fucking jump when you tell me how to jump.
Now, I wish I would have delivered that better and was able to kind of process all these emotions and stuff more as I can now. But that's just how I felt at the time.
And that's just how I feel.
And
Nah.
But National Compost Day sucks. 1 out of 10. Next.
Okay. May 29th, end of the Middle Ages Day.
Whoa.
The end of the Middle Ages is the day to celebrate innovation, culture, and enlightenment.
End of the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages was the worst time period to be alive for in history.
Kinda, yeah. There's
medieval times, right? Is that what it's referring to?
Yeah, the Dark Ages also called.
I mean, the bubonic plague.
Not the Black Death. Yeah, that was it. In 1347, the bubonic plague. Any guess at the number of lives claimed from the?
Oh, it says it in this whole thing.
I have. Well, I got it. Yeah, I pulled it up. It's right here.
Tony did that quick as hell. Unless you already kind of.
No, you can just sometimes. Some of these days have like a drop down. Little information about them, and some of them
I'm gonna
don't.
say killed. 130 million people.
Not too bad. 20 million people.
Not too bad. That was really bad.
A lot of people. 20 million people in those times is a lot of people. You got to think the population of the world.
Probably about 130 million.
Yeah, like when you're talking of overall percentages.
That's what people thought COVID population. Was. Really?
The bubonic plague, yeah.
That's what we were treating it like.
Well, could have been. Could have been. If it was left unchecked as was the bubonic plague, it would have been. It would have decimated people.
It wasn't created in a lab, but
yeah.
We don't get
that we know. Maybe it was. Maybe there was some crazy scientists working on some shit back then.
One thing we did get out of the bubonic plague was the coolest looking doctors ever.
Those witch what? No, they don't call them witch doctors. They call them
they're just like plague doctors, but
plague doctor. That's it. He said they're just like plague doctors. Yeah, that's what they call them, plague doctors.
They had those big old beak masks.
Freaky looking motherfuckers.
Can you imagine? If you were like...
Bro, you have like fever dreams because you got like a high fever for days. You already
had the bubonic plague.
Yeah, like you're already seeing some you're probably hallucinating a little bit.
My original guess was going to be 6 million, by the way, so I was off either way I went. I thought it was like 50% of the population, but it was they
didn't give me that number there, like as far as the percentages of the overall population. But if I were to guess, I'd say 20 million people
was not 50%.
Was not 50%, not even close. But it was probably somewhere in the 15 to 10% to 20% at most. I bet the world population was less than 1 billion people at the time. Less than
no.
Okay, well. Producer Tony is now going to need to look up
There's
what the
no
world.
Way.
What the world?
We're at what? 8 billion, 7.5 billion now.
Well, this is also.
It was 6 billion when I was growing up, but
times they are changing. The numbers they are growing.
The numbers work. The more people there are to procreate, the more numbers are going to be added to the overall population.
Okay, so. 1347, year of the bubonic plague, the world population was estimated to be around 475 million people. So I was right, less than 1 billion.
Damn, we've really rapidly.
Hey, like you just said, it's the math.
But yes, but were they doing consensuses and
consensus? A census.
Yeah. I said census and correct myself.
I know.
Consensus.
I just like a consensus.
Yeah, Bob's usually a wordsmith.
No, I'm not.
But
that's why I feel
were they
better.
doing censuses in Africa and shit like that back then, or Western civilization that wasn't a civilization at the time? Really,
there was. It's hard to say. So the disease, it was 40% of Europe's population.
That is a large amount,
right? And so that was just taking into account Europe's population decline 40%. So globally,
and you said we need another plague like that.
I didn't say shit.
Don't you think?
You said, don't you hey, what did Tool say?
Learn to swim.
Learn to swim.
So you are not saying that.
Stop. So you are not saying that the world needs another plague to take out 40% of its population? What are you saying?
We get 40% chance we're involved in that.
Oh, save it for future generations, bro. I'm just trying to have a good time.
If I took it as serious as I did COVID, I probably would be a part of that 40%.
What, dead?
Yeah.
If you took what serious? I'm sorry. I'm confused.
The plague.
Oh, the COVID plague? Or the other plague? He said, yeah.
Well, maybe.
So today is end of Middle Ages Day. Shouts out to that for May 29th. That'll get you started back on the Black Death.
Does it bring any kind of reaction to you now if you go out in public and somebody like behind the gas station counter is wearing a mask? What are your thoughts here?
At the end of the day, I'm just
media.
At the end of the day, I'm just like, look, live and let live. If that person wants to wear a mask,
what are your thoughts though?
This is my thoughts.
Okay,
I'm saying it, and you're like, no. What are your thoughts?
All right, go ahead.
Live and let live. So if they want to wear a mask, I have no thoughts. I'm like, look, dude, if you want to wear a mask, good, go for it, great, grand. But like, still communicate with me like a person out in society. Like, talk to me if I'm talking to you. Like, if I say thank you. You can say you're welcome or vice versa. Like, say thanks for coming in. Like, it doesn't give you a right to just not interact with society because you're wearing a mask. But if you want to wear one, that's your prerogative. Same thing.
My prerogative.
If somebody wants to wear a bicycle helmet everywhere they go because they're worried about.
And you wouldn't have any thoughts about that?
I say that's your prerogative.
No, it wouldn't. You would have some preconceived notions about that person.
No, I swear to God,
that's such bullshit.
It's not. It's not. 100%.
If you saw somebody in a grocery store wearing a bicycle helmet, you'd be like, that's their prerogative.
Yeah, basically.
What are they preparing for? A can falling off the top shelf?
Yes. You know, you got little Timmy over there throwing spitballs across the way. You got me. Look,
Timmy's throwing spitballs in a grocery store. So you wear a bicycle
and it's
helmet.
knocking off the cans from the top shelf.
If Timmy was having, in this case, it's probably a small child. That fucking bicycle helmet is not going to be protecting the area that Timmy's trajectory of the spitball would be hitting.
Hey man, it was just it was more of an example.
Well, all right. Well,
again, if they're wearing a bike helmet, I'd be like, huh. I probably wouldn't see the need for me to ever do something like that, but I don't know their life.
All right, so what if somebody has a ski mask in a store?
It's again, why? And I don't like it, honestly.
You're not.
I don't like that. The full ski mask's not a fan of that one bit. People walking down the street just full face coverings all the time. Like, what's up with that? Like, why are you trying to hide from society? You know what I mean? What kind of, you just have ill intentions all the time? Or like, why are you trying to hide? Well, I'm just saying, why do they need to hide? Like, who else hides their whole face all the time? People that are just the biggest shy guys ever? I don't know, dude. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's the best move. But like, if you want to wear, you know, your little COVID mask and stuff, be my guest. It doesn't affect my life. It doesn't
anger me, but I definitely have preconceived notions. No, I just have preconceived notions, is what I'm saying.
Soy boys?
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
That does anger me, and I don't, like, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I'm just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I don't care. Yeah, they can do whatever, man.
I think it's just a fear perpetuating thing.
Yeah, that's pretty high place in society in general right now. And it's kind of been going that way for a lot of years. You know, fear mongering has been used as an advertising tool for hundreds of years. Like, oh, buy this product because this bad thing's going to happen to you if you don't, or this is going to keep this bad thing from happening to you by having this product. Like,
and by product, you mean Pfizer?
Drugs, security systems for your house, you know, water filters for your house, like all these things people have been sold over and over and over again because they tell the water you're drinking from the city isn't safe. You need to always filter it. Buy the water softener. Buy the filters.
It's making you autistic. That's the new thing everybody says.
That they're autistic?
No, like this. No, well, that too.
That's a trend also.
Yes, but everything is like,
I have autism.
The water, the vaccines, everything's making you autistic. That's what people like to say now.
Sure.
Those are the losers on the other side. Right?
There's a lot of losers out there.
Losers, both sides.
Oh, what was it? We while we were out of town this weekend, we had Wizard of Oz. We were watching one of the days, and
Were you listening to?
No, didn't do it with Pink Floyd. Just watched it legit, and it's great because you get little nuggets that you forget and miss. As which one is the brainless? The Scarecrow?
Yes.
So Scarecrow is talking about being brainless. And Dorothy says, well, how are you talking if you're brainless? He says, well, sometimes the people without brains do the most talking. I said, fucking brilliant. And this movie came out in the 30s. You know what I mean? People lost sight of that. It's true. Sometimes the people that have nothing to say do the most talking.
Look at us. We have a podcast.
Woo! I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Yeah. So that's end of a middle-aged day. So what's the next day? Quite a lot of diatribe that has stemmed from that.
International Day of UN Peacekeepers.
Diatribe would be what?
Oh, you've missed me on that one. It wasn't on my word of the day calendar.
Dialogue and diatribe are they?
I only know dialogue. I don't know nothing about no diatribe.
Diatribe.
That sounds like a pill.
We'll go dialogue then.
Okay.
There goes
it's
me,
just some
no brain
dialogue
with a mouth, trying to make things come together.
If we only had a brain.
But I feel like most people, you can just say things with confidence like that, and people assume they're the idiot.
Dude.
Right?
Okay, so this is going to lead me down another little subcategory from this weekend. Yeah. So, we got at our cabin, and normally they do like a washers tournament on Sunday.
You didn't do it.
It was raining, so the tournament did not happen. But it was just like a
low rain stopped the yearly event.
This one, the Memorial Day washers one, isn't really the big deal. It's Labor Day is the big one.
That's one I want to.
That's where they'll do horseshoes and washers.
Okay, yeah. Fair.
So
Instead of doing that, they did, guys versus girls, Trivial Pursuit. A lot of sexist splitting of the men's out there.
Yes, it really happens.
But it's fun.
Hold on. You told something to me and Matt. It's like the men are allowed to drink beer and eat the barbecue, and the women can't. Is this true?
So on Labor Day when they do the horseshoe tournament,
is nuts.
So this is just as tradition goes there.
Oh, yeah.
There's the horseshoe tournament, and it's like the guys sign up and do the horseshoe tournament, and then there's like a washer tournament for the ladies on Labor Day weekend every year. And it was always the deal that the guys would pay $10 or whatever as their entry fee into the tournament, and included in the entry fee was like hot dogs off the grill, and then they'd have beer, in buckets, and everybody could drink.
Everybody?
And the women were not participants in the beer and hot dogs.
As the feminist on this podcast,
that's changed over the last 2 years. Those rules have been relaxed because now the women buy into their tournament. Before the women didn't pay anything. They just played washers. It was a free tournament. They didn't pay. The women didn't pay anything. So that's why they weren't included. But now they pay $5 for theirs. The guys still pay $10, so the guys pay more. But the women can also include in the hot dogs and beer. So times they are changing.
2023.
Yeah. Times they are changing. So anyway, this weekend, back to my story. We ended up playing guys versus girls Trivial Pursuit at the bar. You've played Trivial Pursuit. You're familiar. You got to go around the board and get the different colored pie pieces, right? Mm-hmm. So we're playing the game, and it's like me and two other guys that are kind of like doing most of the dialoguing, trying to like work the answers out. And every once in a while, there's another guy that was able to help out with question answers. And I was doing pretty good. I was able to contribute a lot. But there was two different questions where what you were saying, confidence can overrule. I was so sure that my answer was the thing. And one of the other guys had said a different answer. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty positive it's this, I'm just like really, really feeling good about it, that we went with my answer. And then it ended up being the other answer. That only happened twice. There was a lot of other ones, like I said, that I was able to help on and got good. But it just was a perfect example of if you say whatever it is with enough confidence, you can get people to follow you.
Yeah, but I try not to do that. And I check myself.
I agree.
I don't know if I'm ever 100% confident of something,
and that's what I said.
True. You do lean a little more towards being overly confident. In those
scenarios.
I
even say, I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the answer, but I don't know for sure. Okay. It's how I worded it to him.
Is that the context you use? Then
that was 100% how I said it.
You're in the right.
But it was enough of a convincing argument that I put that the guys were like, well, I think he's right. That sounds right.
You did it twice.
Twice.
That's a tough look.
But it was like, this game was like 3 hours.
Like, fuck you, Bob.
No. It didn't happen a third time.
Did that kill your confidence?
It definitely was a mood boost, mood decreaser.
That's a humbling experience.
I said, fuck.
That sucks.
I said, sorry, guys. I led us astray twice.
Yeah, that's a shitty feeling.
It was. And that was bad. Damn. But like I said, I also gave us the answer like eight or nine times. I came up with the answer and it was right, and nobody else had a guess. So it balances out. I helped out more than I hurt. Is how I'm weighing it to myself. Fuck. So, confidence. It gets you a far way. Why were we talking about that?
Diatribe over confidence, dialogue. I said diatribe. You could say that, and with the confidence, people will believe you. There it is.
And that's how we got down that rabbit hole. But I was going through National Day still, so it's International Day of UN Peacekeepers.
The United Nations Peacekeepers?
Yes.
Are they doing their job?
Well,
is peace being kept?
Some would say it's not very peaceful in Eastern Europe right now, and also in the Middle Eastern countries. So
this is UN.
Right, and they have like a little army, the UN army of the UN.
There's a lot more countries in the United Nations than you would think when you start really looking at it.
Yep, you got to break it down. There's a lot. You got anything else you want to add to that day, or do you want to move along?
Move along. So far, the day has not improved by hearing these, but it has provided a lot more dialogue than others.
Mm-hmm. It's Mount Everest Day. Shouts out to Mount Everest. Would you ever
climb Mount Everest. Yeah, I got no interest in it.
No dog in that fight. I mean, kudos and respect to people who do.
But what about
it is a very, very rewarding feeling when you do, but like, who has the time?
It's kind of become a socioeconomic thing. It's like all these rich people are just going over there to be like, I climbed Everest. I have the money. Some of them are just tryhards, and they end up. I mean, it's a tangled web because they support the local economy, right? Like the local economy only works because they have so many rich tourists coming in that they charge for giving them passage up the mountain and taking them up there, the Sherpas and that kind of thing.
Would you rather run an ultra marathon or
what's an ultra marathon?
Big 100 miles.
Jesus.
Or climb Everest.
Give me the 100 miles because like I can walk. At least I'm on flat ground. It's not as likely I die.
100 miles is so much.
It is, but it's not as likely that I die. Everest, a lot of people die,
If you left here and went 100 miles, where would you be? Like Springfield, Missouri, maybe?
Columbia.
Yeah,
Columbia is about 100.
Walking from here to Columbia. That's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, Lewis and Clark walked from the middle of our country to the fucking coast. Walked and hit the boat. I mean, they had to walk over bits of land.
Famously, we're on a river.
Yeah, but there was also portage over land at times.
They did
a lot of walking. They did walking. Don't you tell me they didn't do no walking.
They did a lot of walking.
Yeah.
But they were traveling down the Missouri River.
They were traveling up it at first, down it on the way back.
Okay.
But you're right. They did a lot, mostly river traveling. But I would say, all in all, they probably walked way over 100 miles. Way over 100 miles in total on that trip.
Yeah, but the point of a marathon is that you're doing that in one fell swoop.
Their marathon never ended. They had to get on the boats. They didn't have to push the boats or steer the boats. They had their crew for that. Don't worry. But they also did a lot. And there was a lot of times when Clark would walk along the shorelines while the boats were in the water, and so he would walk and kind of check out the sights of the bank. So he did a lot of walking. That's all I'm saying.
You're a big Lewis and Clark fan.
They were kind of fun, I guess. I mean, they blazed the path, but they also opened it up to the white man. So there's a lot of good and bad with Lewis and Clark. A lot of good, a lot of bad.
And the bad.
Imperialism, not great. Not great.
All right, next day.
National Alligator Day. Get your alligator skinned boots on.
Cool day. Alligators are cool.
Alligators are cool.
But, I mean,
close to dinosaurs?
Closest thing to dinosaurs living, right?
They say that birds might actually be more closely related genetically to dinosaurs, I believe I heard. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but take my word for it. National Biscuit Day.
That's a good day.
This seems like the English version of biscuit.
Oh, cookies?
Like a little cookie. Like a little biscuit
Well,
cookie.
This is an English podcast.
So you want to talk about the fluffy flour biscuits from Hardee's?
Not from Hardee's.
But, you
when
think of the
biscuits,
commercial.
I don't think of Hardee's.
You don't think of Hardee's commercial where they always talk about, we make our biscuits by hand every day. And it's like the milk and the flour in the bowl. Like, flop, 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 flop.
I think of Mike Butler.
Oh, yeah. Mike Butler's got the biscuits?
He's got the biscuits and the gravy, boy.
Okay.
You better believe that.
Hey, I like that. I like a good gravy.
Oh, my goodness.
What's the secret, Mike? Let us know. Call in.
Call in, Big Mike.
Call in, Big Mike. I like it. So, Biscuit Day. It is, we got a few more here. National Snail Day. A couple of these animal ones.
Well, nobody likes snails.
The French, what do they call that? Escargot?
Escargot, my cargo.
Vroom, vroom.
50, swiftly.
Name the artist.
Biggie Smalls.
There you go. National Paperclip Day.
Remember that dude who turned a paperclip into a house, trading up?
Oh, bartering. Mm-hmm.
National Barter Day should be a good one. I bet there is one.
Oh, guarantee there's a National Barter Day. Guarantee it. Come on now. Last one I'll give you is National Edison Day.
Thomas?
Not Thomas Edison. This is for anybody named Edison.
What?
Like the name Edison.
That's the worst day ever.
What you don't think there's any other Edisons outside of Thomas?
Never met an Edison in my life.
The name has been ruined by Thomas.
Well, yeah, but Thomas Edison is also a scam artist.
Yeah, it's true. He was a shyster. He basically drove Tesla crazy, made him into a wild man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not for Thomas Edison. This is for the Edison generic.
But you've never met an Edison, guarantee it. I'll write that in stone.
Not that it was human. I met a couple Edison dogs.
Who?
Dogs named Edison.
Why?
Because somebody named him Edison.
Oh, why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, they're Thomas Edison fans?
Don't know. They just like the name Edison.
If somebody hears Edison, there's only one thing that comes to mind, and it's Thomas Edison.
That's what comes to mind. But some people will be like, oh, I like the name Edison. I'm just going to name my dog that. And I guess it's become a name that people...
May 29th has now been worse than when I entered it.
Because it's Edison Day, but not Thomas Edison?
Here's the thing about Edison.
Here's the thing.
I don't know any Edisons, and the one I do, I don't respect. And if I did meet you and your name's Edison...
I don't respect you.
I don't.
Thanks, Thomas. You ruined it for everybody. You think there was anybody first named Edison before Thomas? Last name Edison?
Yeah, his parents.
Edison?
No, Thomas Edison's parents. You said before Edison?
No, I said anybody that was first name Edison before Thomas, last name Edison.
No.
He said no. Nobody was ever first named Edison. I don't know. Edison isn't one of the most popular surnames. Edison as a first name is even rarer.
How is Edison popular enough of a name to have a national day and that it's not associated with Thomas Edison?
Because there's 365 days in a year, and they need names for all of them, I guess.
There's way cooler names that are being left off these lists.
You got me. I left off the list. I mean, I don't know what national day is every day. I'm sure there's basically a national day for all names. You know what I mean? So, simply put,
there's a basketball player named Jamario Moon. Jamario is the opposite effect in my brain as Edison. I hear Jamario, and I think that is a cool fucking guy. Jamario, cool name.
Mm-hmm.
Edison, loser. Right?
Who is? Oh, Edison, you said loser?
Yeah, but I'm saying we should have a National Jamario Day.
Oh.
Cool ass name.
It's a good name. So here you go. I'm just trying to give it to you. First records of Edison being used as a first name is in 1308. This guy in Yorkshire became first documented link to Edison family tree.
The Edison family tree, that's the last name.
It says first name, though, because it's... Yeah.
You just said Edison family tree.
I know, that's what it says here. I'm just reading
Edison
off
Edison?
the prompter. No. John Addison became Edison.
What?
But then it's saying on the other part of this that Edison used as a first name is rare. But basically it's saying that Edison was a surname that became used as first name.
Remember a couple weeks ago we had a day that said absolutely sucked. May 29th has taken the cake.
Suck days. These days suck. Well, what can you say? I'm just trying to read from the prompter here. And this is what it gave me. It's Edison Day, not Thomas Edison Day. I'm sure it's up a different day. So, sorry. Suck it. And you can lick me. May 29th, a couple birthdays.
Uh-oh.
Carmelo Anthony, shouts out.
Really?
Birthday. Yep. Also, John F. Kennedy would have been alive. His birthday would be today if he would be alive. His birthday would be today.
Well, he'd be like, hold on, let me guess.
Yeah, that was where I was at. I didn't want to guess.
John F. Kennedy, I want to say he died in 1963 at, let's say, 46 years old, if I'm going with that age. So 1963, you add 62 to that age, so he would be 109 years old. In my estimation, that'd be my guess.
That would be the math.
But what year was John F. Kennedy born?
He was born in 1917. So he'd be 108.
Oh my gosh, I was so close, bro.
Yeah, you almost had that math. I mean, you were basically right there.
Well, I just didn't have the age that he died correct. That's all.
He was 46 when he died. You were right. Yeah.
And I had the year right.
And you had the 63 as the year he died, right?
Hold on, yeah.
You just missed something in the equation.
Well, yeah, because it was he died in November.
Either way, you were basically there. I didn't math it out. I wasn't going to live on air, but you did. And you basically nailed it. So I'll give it to you. Ding, 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 ding. winning, you will be able to spin for the final showcase showdown.
Well, remind me at the end of the episode.
All right. I don't know what we're going to give away, but it'll be the showcase showdown. So, it's been an eventful day for you already, though, this
I
May
get to host
29th.
next week.
You get to host next week? That's what the showcase showdown's for? Yeah, sure. I'm game. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah, a little role play. But yeah, today, this May 29th is a bad day, as you said. But
bad day, bad day.
Bad day, bad day. You've been getting a chance to do your walks in the park, but it was a pretty eventful day from what you were telling me earlier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, more eventful. Like, first of all, I don't make a habit of calling the police.
Yeah, I'd say. I don't think a lot of people make habits of, I take that back. There's some people that make habits of calling the police, but you're definitely not a habitual police caller.
No.
I would say. Usually you're more of the 5-0, book it, Danno. You're the guy got to get out of
there. Fair. But so I was on lap 2 of my Carondelet Park walk in beautiful park, sponsor the show.
Carondelet Park sponsors South City. Just out.
And that I was walking down the Loughborough side of said park,
south side of the park,
and I see this woman, like maybe
you see this woman. I see this
tenth of a
blind
mile
woman
ahead of me.
Sorry.
And she's got her phone out, and so then I take my AirPods out and I'm looking, and
there's a situation. You were alerted.
this man,
you see
like,
a guy
banging on his door, saying, "I'm gonna fucking kill you! I'm gonna fucking kill you!"
This is across the street from the park
on Eugene and Loughborough.
Yeah. I'm just painting.
And then
the picture.
so he starts going and like trying to bust a window. Does not have the strength to bust this window to this car.
Well, that's good.
But he's like screaming, and people are stopping, and like,
what car was he hitting? Like some driving by or some car?
outside of his house.
I see what you're saying. He went up. So he went back and forth from yelling into the house and then going and like banging on this car.
So I keep walking towards this lady who I see with her phone out recording this whole thing.
What's this lady look like? What's she look like? Paint this picture.
She is mid-30s.
Okay.
White woman with tattoos, red hair.
Got it.
Tattoos on her neck, like leopard print.
Okay.
Medium-sized build.
She's taking in the sights.
Yes.
She stopped her walk. She stopped her walk and is engaged in what this man across the street is doing.
Tank top and pink shorts.
Okay.
And so I start kind of like, I have one AirPod in at this point, still listening to the Kirk Minahan show and watching this dude who is at this point now, he has started to take his anger out on everyone because there's these cars that are stopping and kind of gauging. I couldn't hear if they were interacting with them, but they stopped and they were definitely gauging the situation. And then he started approaching the car, swinging on them, saying, "I'll fucking kill you too. Kill you too."
Swinging at the car? Like punching cars?
Trying to punch the car. And they all bitch made take off.
Skirt.
Yes. Pussies. And
I don't understand people punching hard objects. What goes through some
sends
people's
a
minds?
message.
Does it?
And he's at a state of rage, and I cannot gauge where this man's like mental state was.
Sure.
Like what? Now I could gauge his mental state. I could not gauge what caused it. Yes.
Yeah.
Now now I'm about at the point where I am passing this lady, and at this exact moment, he sees her recording him, and he's all the way across the street.
Target's set.
And he starts crossing the street, and he gets stopped because there's traffic coming from both ways. But he's yelling at this woman, "I'll fucking kill you." At this point, I'm like, fuck. Because I had already passed this lady. I'm about 15 steps past, but I come back and walk towards her and stand there. And I don't know if it was me standing there or if he just realized that it was like a lot to get across the road, both ways.
Right.
So he turns back around and starts yelling, "I'm going to kill you," back at the house again.
Okay.
At this point,
he's uninterested now. He's like the dog chasing the squirrel, and then all of a sudden, here comes a rabbit. Oh, not interested in the rabbit no more. The squirrel again. You go back and forth.
And I was like, "Did you already call the police?" And she's like, "No, I'm trying to FaceTime my sister. She's a social worker."
FaceTime my sister. I'm trying to
So that's what she
FaceTime
was
my
doing.
sister. Get out of here. How long, how many seconds do you think it was from the time you start walking up on her, you see her standing there with her phone,
Minute and a half.
and you take your things, you walk by, and then have to come back towards
90
her?
seconds.
Get out of here with, "I'm trying to FaceTime my sister." You're lying.
But I was like, "Well, you should probably call the police." And she's like, "Well, I don't call the police like often." I was like, "Well, I don't either."
I don't call the police
But
often.
like you standing here, like this dude is already pissed at her, saying he's gonna kill her, which it's like the 8th person he said he's gonna kill.
Right, and you're just standing here, not doing shit, watching all this unfold, not even just watching, you're the kind of person that's got your phone out and is just recording, FaceTiming, bullshit. You're recording. You're standing there recording, and basically she got caught doing that because you were like, are you going to call the police? And she's like, no, I was standing here recording. She wasn't going to say that. So she says, oh, I was FaceTiming my sister.
She did get scared because she turned her phone off when he started walking towards her.
Yeah, that's when it's 100% she's just standing there recording.
But that's why I was like, fuck. Like, now I was like, now I have like an obligation, a moral obligation to like stay in with this woman.
Yeah.
And so I called the police, let them know what's going on.
Hey, there's a guy banging on all this stuff, telling everybody that's within earshot he's going to kill them. So maybe you want to do something about that.
Yes,
it seems like a simple enough call, but this lady tells you that she did. What would I say? What would I, right?
So then she walked with me away from the situation until probably like, I want to say another quarter mile until we got around the turn because it's like right there by that roundabout there. And then we went our separate ways. And I just had both AirPods in, wasn't saying anything at that point. She said thank you and shit for coming back, but at the same time I wanted to be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know,
what's wrong with you?
Like this man is enraged and could easily kill you. Yeah, like he could. He was a big man.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there, like, there's nothing in between her and this dude. Like, he saw.
And here's the thing, too. She could have made a decision. Okay, I don't want, sure, I don't call the police. I don't call the police often. I don't know what to say.
Keep walking.
Right, exactly.
That's what I was going to do, to be honest.
Like, you know.
Because nobody was
yeah, you don't have to be a hero. I'm not asking you to be a hero. I'm not saying you need to step in and call the police, do whatever. Like, if if you're comfortable doing that, do it. But, like, I'm not going to shame you for not because it's, that's just some people can't put themselves in those situations.
But I'm going to kill you at least at 12 different people.
But to stop and pull out your phone and you're recording this guy doing all this stuff, going through this and being like, yes. Like, all that's going through your mind is, oh, man.
My bet is she was Snapchatting it to her story or Instagram.
Any of those things, 100%. Because all that goes through this person's mind is, oh, my gosh, this is going to get so much engagement. Like, sickening. It's just gross example of society. Like, I don't know, man. That just makes me more mad when you tell it to me this time than it, was when you were telling me earlier. It's upsetting.
I don't know what this man might have had the right to feel the way he did.
Right.
Maybe not threatening innocent passerbys.
Bitches be tripping all the time, man.
He couldn't break this door, but he was probably hesitant. He probably was like, as he was punching, because he was big enough that I think he could have, but it was probably like pulling punches because he's like, fuck, what's going to happen if I actually succeed breaking this window?
You don't really want to break this window. Just trying to send
who knows? Maybe he was given a shitty hand here, you know? But like when he's when he's threatening bystanders and stuff, I just thought maybe the police should pull up and just make sure everybody's safe.
That's what they're paid for, is to provide safety to the general public. So that is their job.
And this was at 10:30.
Yeah. Yep. Well, good on you, Davey, for, recognizing that there was something to be done. And you said, okay, I guess I'll do it.
And to be clear, I wasn't going to share this on the podcast to be like, pat me on the back. It was just a story I was sharing with Bob over lunch.
Yeah.
But he thought,
I mean, I'm just another thing to add to the May 29th day of things.
Day of reckoning.
Yep, and I just also wanted to shame this lady that decided to stand there and record this guy.
What I didn't add, though, what ended up happening, why I ended up walking away after I called the police is like, shortly after that, this person who he was screaming at did open the door and he got into this house.
Eek. Well,
what am I gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. You ain't gonna you alerted the authorities, right? Like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Not your job from there, they might say. But at least you didn't stand there and just record it, hoping to catch something.
Never will I do that.
Hoping to catch something interesting to get it on your Snapchat story, Instagram story, whatever, to make all your little friends be like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy where you live or whatever. Like, people they just want to feed the machine, man. Feed the meter.
Who's more
get karma back or whatever?
We'll get into a real segment later, but who's more the asshole in this scenario? The guy going crazy or the woman recording this man at a low?
Yeah, honestly, like I'm saying, I feel more type of way about this woman standing there just recording this guy doing whatever going through this thing right now than I do about the guy. Like you said, I don't know what his situation is.
And let me say, I didn't want this man to be arrested or anything. Like, I don't know what his story is or what brought him to that level of anger. I just wanted everybody around, because there's kids
like he needed somebody to be the voice of reason. That guy, he needed somebody to step in and be like, hey man, let's bring it down a level and let's have a conversation. Yes. Like, if you're being wrong, let's do something about
that's
it.
Out of my jurisdiction.
Exactly, right, 100%. But like, people can be angry, but yeah, you can't be violent. You can't, threatening to kill somebody. It gets a little, don't do that. So like, he was not in the right or whatever. I'm not trying to be like, he's right, she's wrong, this and that. But I think the behavior is more gross from her, honestly. Like, you're not helping. You're just standing here and recording. You're not helping. And you're not ignoring. You're not helping. You're not ignoring. You clearly see what's happening, and you clearly see and feel that it's wrong because you're like, oh, this is weird. I should record this. Like, so that's happening in their brain. They know that something weird's happening, and they're acknowledging it, and they're taking advantage of it, really, because they're using it for fucking fodder for their friends, something for them to talk about later. Yeah. Like, that's gross. That's gross. I hate that. She's worse. Fuck it. She's worse. Suck my balls. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, because I was wondering myself, am I the asshole? Because if that woman wasn't standing there and that man was going through it, and I was just gonna keep on walking.
Yeah, and you know what? But that's all right. You're not the only one that just would keep on walking. At the end of the day, you can. It's.
But should we though say that woman wasn't there and I kept on walking? What I'm saying is, should I go over or even approach this man, not in a physical manner, but just being like, as a fellow human being, try to de-escalate the situation? Or is that...
It's tough. I mean, like, if you feel confidently that you would want to put yourself in that situation, then
sure. I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people are built to feel like they could be, want to be a conflict resolution person, and a lot of other people said, I can't. I don't want to be part of any
now,
kind of
if he was outside and this woman was outside and I felt like she was a danger, I would cross that street.
Sure. If you see somebody like in immediate physical harm,
then there's
like a way different set of, rules to go by, if you will, or like moral standards, I guess. But standing there and filming it is never the answer.
That's the world we live in.
Never. I know.
And I didn't even think at the time. I didn't even think anything of her filming. I thought when I approached up her, I kind of believed her story that she was fake filming.
I was just trying to FaceTime my sister. And again, like, that's terrible excuse and reasoning. Like, you're lying. Even if you were trying to FaceTime your sister, you took at least 90 seconds to do this because, like you said, you saw her and engaged her for like a minute and a half walking to her and back. It doesn't take that long to get somebody on the phone if you were really trying to do that. If she didn't answer for a minute and a half, you sure still were standing there holding your phone that whole time.
Was. That is, and that did cross my mind later on my walk. I was like, nobody was on FaceTime when I approached her, and she was standing there for at least 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Zoomed in probably on this man. I didn't see her phone.
Yeah, dude.
She probably zoomed in on him.
Blah. Hate it. Bane of our fucking society is that kind of behavior. People willing to stand by and just film somebody going through something. Not if you're going to engage, have that conversation, like you just said. If you want to engage them. Talk to the person. Don't stand there and film them like there's some fucking animal in a cage. Like, that's
how
gross, dude.
Now I look back on it, that is how that was.
It's gross. It's gross behavior. So fuck you, May 29th. Some ugly things today.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
It's National Record Somebody at an All-Time Low Day.
Yeah, well, that's every day in America. Not even America, worldwide. Let's be honest.
That is fucked up that more people would rather sit and record than at somebody at their all-time low.
Yeah. Than just ignore it, or I'd rather you ignore it 100%. Just ignore it. Keep on walking.
Because sometimes that is the best even in real life. Let somebody calm down, cool down, ignore it.
Yeah. The baby throwing a fit, don't pay him any attention.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, moving forward. Anyway.
Onward.
How was your Memorial Day weekend? Did you have any barbecue?
What did I do? I worked. I had fingers to the bone.
Hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to work, Zave goes. Hi-ho, 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 hi-ho.
Yeah, good weekend at work. What did I do, though, after work? What did I do? Yes, sir. Shout out Zesty Cat.
Zesty Cat.
Big Cat, Carl Anthony Towns to the Knicks. Very zesty boy, and I love it.
Zestiest boy. All right.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh my God," when he gets fouled.
Yeah, zesty.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yes.
Did you have any barbecue was my question to you.
No, unfortunately, but I can tell you this. I thought everybody should have barbecue, but people still love their Mexican food.
The Tex-Mex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Rosalia's was popping off on the Memorial Day weekend. I feel like there was a lot of graduation celebration to that season. So you're seeing a lot of that.
Oh, lots of that. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I guess shout out to all you graduates out there. Here's to
Congrats,
the next.
you made it.
Congrats, you made it. Here's to the next chapter, whatever that might be.
It gets worse from here.
Only goes down.
How about you?
That's a positive outlook.
You kind of sold a little bit of your Memorial Day weekend out at the cabin, and
Yeah.
Rain
Friday,
and
slow
Wizard of
gig.
Oz.
We were at the Westport social, and you could tell a lot of people had already packed up and hit the road to get out of town by Friday night because there was a slim crowd at that joint, and that's usually a joint that's got a pretty decent amount of people hanging out. Then went out to the country estate. The weather was bummy, so didn't really get to get in the river, or the kids got in the pool. Brave souls on the Saturday. The weather was nice enough. It was like 70 degrees on Saturday of that weekend. We hung out. Relatively good time. Jamie getting seems like more frequently now as we get together with Jamie's dad and his wife that we'll end up in an argument about politics. They are large Trump supporters.
onward.
And that's what it is. But we're not a political podcast. So there was, some, what do you want to say? Animosity after a meal, after some arguments about, I guess there's a bunch of immigrants in New York. He claims the government's paying for all their hotel rooms and this and that and the other thing. You got me, brother. I was like, well, why do you care about New York City so much?
Yeah, I don't know if I have much to add to any. It's interesting, but
hey,
it's divisive by nature.
It is, but I just hope that everybody would, on all sides, would know that you're being lied to on all fronts.
Yeah, that is what I would say too.
But people that can't admit to that on all fronts,
that's why we get arguments.
The problem, yeah, yep. We're all being played in a game, brother. But that's beside the point. But it was a good weekend outside of that. Came home Monday.
There is no left or right. We need to drink together tonight.
That's right.
I can't even think.
You can join if you want to.
We need to release that. That's what the people need right now. You let it get in your head.
Anthem
you had
song.
a little criticism, and
I did.
Yeah.
About what?
I was just saying that song. I feel like you just.
It didn't get any criticism.
Oh.
Steve wrote most of that song, and he said, "I don't want you using my song."
Steve wrote most of the songs.
He wrote all the music.
Yes.
So what are you saying?
But I feel like I wrote.
We wrote the lyrics.
Yes.
You wrote the lyrics. We wrote the lyrics and medleys or melodies for the lyrics. But that's 20% of a song.
Yeah. Well,
so there's still a lot of that song that's not my credit. I can't just take somebody else's work and pass it as mine. So we can still use those lyric and melodies. We'll just I'll have to come up with
what's Steve gonna do?
Different music.
Throw another little British bitch fit.
Look, it's not about legalities. It's just about like what's right and what's wrong. And I'm not here to use somebody else's music
because I can necessarily treated you right.
That's great, but I don't need to steal somebody else's music. I can make my own just as good, if not better. That's all I'm saying.
All right, shots fired.
That's right.
Pun intended.
He said it. Bing, 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 bing. Password of the day. Shots fired.
All right. Speaking of...
Moving on.
Wait, we have anything else right now?
No, you said speaking of, so I thought you were moving on.
Yeah, I was.
Let's go.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of music, I was going to get into Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it is time. Sure, let's go with it. Mount Rushmore time.
And today, we will be discussing and drafting a Mount Rushmore of best musical artist / groups album catalogs. So not their entire,
not the full discography, not all mixtapes and singles and compilations and appearances, those don't all count. This is album catalogs. We're going to be doing the best musical artists album catalog. So, you know how we like to do, Xavier. I got this Office chip in my hand. I'm going to flip it. You'll call it in the air.
Oh, go ahead.
And we got one side says The Office. The other side is blank. Call it 3, 2, 1.
The Office.
It is The Office.
I want the 1-1.
He's taking the first pick this week. No deferments here. So, all right. Lead us off.
My first pick.
Get closer to the mic, you fool.
Taylor Swift.
Wow.
I'm going to let you finish in a minute, but Kanye West has the best album discography of all time. You like that?
He just wanted to do this whole catalog because he wanted to land that joke, I feel like.
I felt like it was well landed.
You did. You had me in the first half. It's funny.
Woo, 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 woo.
So, but yeah, you're going to go ahead and pick Kanye with your 1-1, huh?
I mean, I don't even think it's close.
Album catalogs.
Now, I know people are going to have their...
He's controversial, Xavier. How could you possibly pick a controversial artist?
In music history, and I know there's a lot more albums, and we don't take picks here, but that run, College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I mean, 808s and Heartbreaks, Yeezus, Life of Pablo. I mean, come on.
You basically named all of his albums.
Yeah, well, we had Ye, Donda, Kids See Ghost. Like, I mean, I think that might be all of them.
Jesus is King.
Oh, yeah, well.
Down to 2, and now you have I guess Vultures are counted as albums.
Yeah, but basically...
No, his large body of work was early on. I do love me some early Kanye.
Not even early Kanye.
I mean, Life of Pablo is probably close to one of the last ones that really resonated with me.
Well, that's still a 6-7 album run.
Oh, hey, trust me, I'm not. He's got some good albums. I agree. Hey, wasn't probably going to be on my Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah, I don't think I feel like we already discussed this earlier.
Yeah. And that's natural to be in a thing like music or art that's very subjective. So it makes sense. It's hard to have a consensus agreement on something like this, and we probably shouldn't. How boring would it be if everybody
there's other huge names. I'm talking about going back to the 60s and all that stuff that have had great album success that changed music. But for my time being alive, nobody was shifting the sound and choosing what sound was popular the way Kanye West was for 15 years.
Yeah. He set the wave, that's for sure.
I mean, and when Yeezus came out, that was so ahead of its time. Like, you go back and listen to Yeezus now, like, that shit was, gosh, man. Kanye West albums, just, like, you don't skip a song. You listen to them in its entirety, and you can put on the first 5 albums that he ever put out, and, like, you can get through a 4.5-hour road trip and just not even realize you're driving.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
That's fair. That is fair. That's a good one. All right, Kanye, sure. 1-1. So, Xavier. So I got 2. Well, pretty simple for me, I guess, on these first 2. I go, it doesn't really matter, but I'll go Rush first, their whole catalog. You got 50 years of music right there. Keep me pretty entertained for a long time. Anything else to add about that?
Well,
any questions?
One of their albums could get the information to them. What's anything you need from you? And
you said one of their albums. What?
Like their password, your PIN number, everything in between.
Not everything from me. That's a number that is enjoyable, easy to remember. I couldn't use it on a lot of things. Too simple.
It's a, what's it called? Same way, not forwards and backwards?
Palindrome.
That's what that is, right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that'll be my first one.
I will say my best
for best catalog
for going to that specific album. Because I'll say I've never had a more enjoyable experience listening to any album in its entirety than when you and I dropped acid and listened to that. That
is the 2112 record for everybody. We don't have to hide the number. Nobody gives a shit. I don't have that as my PIN number no more. Get my bank card. Find it out. Steal my money. I don't have anything.
But I absolutely loved it. Like, it was awesome. It was
great
incredible.
Record.
It was like, that was a very good memory for me, one that I'll always have, and I'll never hear that album the same.
Yeah.
So that's why I have to
it's
say
going to hold
that.
a special place for you there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just as an artist's whole catalog, I feel like they covered so many different grounds as far as like styles of music. They started off as a heavy blues band, basically, writing songs like Working Man. It was just kind of like a bluesy kind of guitar riff and a pretty simple song they just jammed out the whole time. And you see as they grew as a band and progressed, their songs became obviously more complex, and multi-layered, and then Geddy started putting in keyboards. And
Twilight Zone's my favorite Rush song.
You have entered the twilight zone. Beyond this world, strange things are known.
Dude.
Use the key, unlock the door. You might find what you're looking for.
That was the peak of my whole day.
Great jam. No, they put together an amazing album on that one. I mean, they put together a lot of great records, but that time of the career specifically was like a do or die moment. Basically, they had two records before that were kind of starting to decline in sales numbers, so they were getting that. No, that was not before then.
Oh, sorry.
They had a Caress of Steel album. Some of these albums didn't even have like a hit song on them. That's what I'm saying. They had a couple albums in a row, but this is after Fly By Night and some other early success. So they had early success with their first couple albums, and then they put out these two more albums before 2112 that were starting to decline in number. So they were getting, a lot of pressure from their record label to deliver something that was marketable to radio, right? Something that was going to be
right in their Q zone.
Not in Rush's Q zone, but that was the thing. So they're like, that's just not what we do. This is the kind of thing that we want to do. So they basically did the whole 2112 record and was like, this is what we're doing. We're either going to make it work with how we want to do things, or we're going to go out and this will be our last album, but at least we did it the way we wanted to do it. They didn't cave to the pressures of the record label to write more radio friendly music. And that's what they got. They got an all-time classic album out of it. So you got to appreciate the bravery of the time for them to do such a thing, and it allowed them to have the artistic freedom for the rest of their career. And then, throughout the 80s and 90s, they were doing a lot of different crazy things with soundscapes. Like I said, Geddy with his synthesizers. They were true innovators for what they were able to do with a three-piece band. That's one. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a large Rush fan, but you could listen to them for multiple days on a row without getting a repeat song, and you'll be
call in
intrigued.
Large Rush fan.
Well, I'm right here. All right, so that's my 1A pick. My second one, pretty similar kind of vein though. Metallica, complete catalog of albums.
The only one I was worried about you stealing from me.
Come on, brother. It had to be an easy one for me to take. They have, again, a massive catalog of a lot of albums, and pretty much anything in the first 15 years of their career I could listen to and not have to skip a single song, and I'm highly entertained.
Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets,
all the way up
Justice for All. I'm just trying to name them in order. Is that right so far?
Yeah. Wait, I missed it.
Oh.
What'd you say?
I don't want to run it back now.
You said Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning,
Master of Puppets,
yes,
Justice for All, Black Album, Load,
yeah,
Reload.
That's chicks.
All right, bam.
Well, he said that's all that matters.
Well, you had
that's
the
basically what I was saying. Is like that's where it stops.
concert, Garage Days. Then you got Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Then you got something to self-destruct.
It was The Day That Never Comes. Was that the name of the album?
I went on for a pretty good
Death
run.
Magnetic.
Death Magnetic.
Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like they're.
I feel pretty proud.
Yeah, they got a massive catalog of a lot of enjoyable music for me.
So they're definitely my summer.
It's still pretty culturally relevant, you know. Stranger Things, Master of Puppets had that big scene, and like all these new people were introduced to it and loved it. I mean, they sold out back-to-back shows in St. Louis in 2023.
Yeah, was it sold out? Regardless, they had a lot. They had a high number of people there.
High number.
High number. Kendrick's coming up.
Shut the.
Hello.
Let's wait for that.
Look, if you want to pick the man, you gotta hope he gets to you. Whatever. I've used my 2 picks. Yeah,
I know. But just wait for natural fucking.
I'm trying to have a conversation about what's happening here in St. Louis next week, and you're like, shut the fuck up. I get it.
Well, in my second pick,
play your cards.
Will be
you got back to backs.
K. Dot, Kung Fu Kenny.
Kung Fu Kenny now. That's
Kendrick
a good one.
Lamar.
He was definitely in my radar.
That was the one I was nervous I had to jump.
Yeah, you had to pick on him now. Otherwise, a good chance he wouldn't have been there.
I mean, what is there not to say?
But
we're not doing mixtapes, but you can even start with Section 8.0. But then, like, in my opinion, the best hip hop rap album of all time, Good Kid, Mad City. His best critically acclaimed album comes after that. It's Pimp a Butterfly. Then you have Damn, and then you have a big hiatus followed by Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and then obviously his latest album might be his most commercially successful album to date, right?
Could be,
but I mean,
I didn't look at the numbers.
The man doesn't miss.
Yeah, I think you had Kanye as your first pick. And I think, like, basically when Kanye started to fumble the ball, Kendrick picked it right up and said, I'll take that ball, and has been running with it ever since. So I'm right. I mean, I like Kendrick's whole catalog. I'm right there with you. Phenomenal. But I know you don't necessarily agree that Kanye fumbled the ball at some point. But
he didn't. He's put out music way more consistently than Kendrick.
And I just think his quality of music has deteriorated over the years.
But he's also been doing it way longer than Kendrick Lamar.
Well, sure. Now, at this point, Kendrick's been doing it for about 12, 13 years at a high level.
And Kanye's been going, like, he was
20.
making, more than that. 20 just for his own album, but he was producing massively successful songs before that.
Yeah. Diddy and all that. I agree. I know. I'm just saying the quality of music that Kanye has been giving me the last 7 to 8 years hasn't been as enjoyable for me.
Ye has some bangers.
Like I said, for me,
Kids See Ghost is like, if you listen to Kids See Ghost, you'd be like, this is classic Kanye. But we're not talking about Kanye right now. We're
not talking about Kanye.
Kendrick Lamar, and and what I love about his albums is like you have to listen to it from front to back.
Yes,
like the skits in between, everything, the way he has all the songs organized. He's an artist. He's not
legit
just
storytelling.
He is, and he's brilliant at what he does. He's not for everybody, but me personally, I love sitting down and listening to a Kendrick album in its entirety.
Oh yeah,
I don't like starting it and not finishing it. Yeah, I just think that's the best way to.
I think I just listened to put Damn on again. Listened to the whole thing last week. Yeah, it was like last week.
I mean, it's so damn good.
Yeah, I usually get that one in like 2 or 3 times a year. I'll listen to Damn.
To the bank like my next pick, and I feel like man, this would be my 1-1 if you included mixtapes. But we're not. So means, you know what's coming up.
Hold on. Oh, I don't have a lighter down here.
That's Tunchi. That's Weezy F Baby.
Weezy.
And that's Lil Wayne. And
I need Brady here to do his Lil Wayne voice. He'll do a Tucci.
And like I said, if you include mixtapes, he is the king. He's the GOAT.
He's the king of mixtapes.
But even then, you take that out, and you have Carter through Carter 5, which, it's so popular to say, I love old Wayne. Like, not me. I love all Wayne. And Carter through Carter 5, he even fucked around and did a rock album in their Rebirth.
Fuck around.
But
dude, some of the funniest clips I think I've ever seen in my life is watching Lil Wayne with a guitar on live stage. That's always hilarious.
Well,
he said, "What's the scale? I ain't need no scales, man. All these notes work, dog."
Probably better. He's probably better on guitar than you are at rapping.
Is that what we're gonna say?
Well, you're coming at him when this is supposed to be talking him up.
I mean, look,
Jim Irsay 2.0.
I appreciate the man trying to do everything. I just think that I find it enjoyable and humorous when I watch the clips of him playing those guitar solos. That's all. Look, I can't say that.
But even Funeral His last album that he dropped is phenomenal. I mean, I love it. Like, I love
me some Prom Queen too. I just wanted to talk about that for a second.
Well, I'm not Rebirth. I'm not. It's like I definitely know. I don't go back and listen to Rebirth.
Fancy underwear. How could you forget that? That's a banger. Come on.
But
sorry.
No, but his albums.
All apologies, Lil Wayne.
But Carter through Carter 5, and you got
apologies.
Phenomenal work by the man.
Yep. I mean, and I think it seemed like he knew what he had with Mona Lisa being an all-time classic because, from all accounts, it took him a little bit of time to get it in its final form. But it's great. It's a masterpiece of a song.
5.
I know. He had a great. That's why I'm saying his whole body of work has been solid. Like, he's not just shitting out an album at Carter 5 because he's Lil Wayne and he's already got all the success. He's putting that time and effort in to a song like Mona Lisa. Because he cares, he's got some integrity. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he dropped a whole mixtape of the songs that he did not choose to be on Carter 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a workaholic. He's been doing it for over 30 years now. Like ever since the Hot Boys, and I mean, it's Wayne, and that's all I gotta say.
He said, it's Wayne. Tucci. So, all right, you got your 3 and 4 picks there. No. Yeah. No,
that's 2 and 3.
2 and 3, right? So you got Kanye. You got the big 3 right now. You got Kanye, Kendrick, Lil Wayneski. Then I'm sitting on Rush and Metallica. So I got my 3 and 4 picks coming up. I've kind of wrestled around with the last few picks I got here because it's tough. Like, I know that there's like artists that I enjoy a lot and their catalog is big enough that it would like keep me engaged and entertained for a long time. But then there's like other artists that also have very large catalogs that maybe I'm not familiar with their entire catalog as much as I want it to be. Like I'd pick them because I know that they have a great body of work. Gosh, there's so many. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to pick my last 2. But I got honorable mentions. So when should we do honorable mentions?
After the last pick. It makes the most logic.
Fair. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to go Queen for my next pick.
Oh.
They obviously put out a lot of good stuff in their career, spanning from the late 70s to the mid 80s or so. Yeah, I like that pick. Pretty good variety of style music, but it's all good, feel good rock. And then my last pick, gosh. All right, last pick will be Michael Jackson. And then that counts for all albums that he's on.
Against the Wall,
Jackson
Thriller.
5. Jackson 5 albums are included because that's part of his album catalog.
And that does suck that the Beatles are not going to be taken in this draft.
Yeah, Beatles were honorable mention on my list.
We'll talk about them in a minute then.
All right, Xavier, what's your last one?
And I know people are going to say, wow, having these 2 guys on Mount Rushmore with so much animosity between them, it's unprecedented.
He's coming with a Canadian.
We're building bridges here
from Canada to the United States,
and I mean,
Matt's gonna be pissed.
Brady too. I probably had Brady until this pick might make Brady hate my list.
And because your list,
and that's because I have to go with Taylor Swift, musician friend.
Taylor Swift's musician friend. From the great white north.
That is Aubrey Graham.
6.
But I mean, come on. The guy said it himself. We didn't take the Beatles. He has more slaps than the Beatles.
Aubrey Graham, DBA Drake for those laymen.
Drake Rogers. Which is funny because the story behind that is he used to email Lil Wayne. And I guess in Canada, like, how we had SPC Global.
Yeah.
Their shit was Rogers.net. And so Lil Wayne just saw, he thought that Jersey Drake's name was
Rogers.
Jersey Drake Rogers because it was like Jersey Drake at Rogers.
That's
so,
funny.
Lil Wayne mistakenly thought he went by Jersey Drake Rogers, which I think is kind of a funny little story.
Yeah. That's good. I like a little anecdote.
But I mean, come on now. Nothing was. Thank Me Later.
Yeah.
Take Care. Nothing was the same. If you're reading this, it's too late. I mean, Views. That's 5 albums there.
I can't deny that he had some good work. He deserves mention, but I don't think he would be. It would take a while before I got to his full catalog.
He's Albert Pujols.
What?
The first 10 years was a 10 years that nobody's ever seen, and then the next 10 years
nobody's
was
ever seen.
What do you mean?
Like there wasn't great success with bands like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin that they just ruled the world for.
You just named 2. If he's in a breath with those 2, that's crazy. That's 2 of the biggest names that music's ever seen in the last 100 years.
But it's also like
it's Drake, and you have changed up so much on Drake, bro.
No,
it's crazy.
I like
you
Drake.
Are letting
he's
people
got a
get
good
in your
catalog.
I am a man that doesn't get skewed by the outside noise. I love Matt. I love Brady, but guess what? They're not changing my opinion on a man who makes music that I love and enjoy.
They're not changing mine either.
You
but here's
loved Drake so long, dude.
Yeah, but here's what I'm getting ready to say. You're not trying to let me have a conversation.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. So when it comes to how a catalog holds up over time, I've had more time to digest other people's stuff, and there's still a lot of old Drake I go back and listen to and enjoy. But some of the stuff that was on those old albums doesn't hold up for me as well over time.
Like what?
God, I don't know, dude. I'd have to sit here and listen to it. Yeah, I don't have prime examples. I just know how I was feeling.
It does.
If I go back and I put on an old Drake album, it doesn't have the same impact across the board. There's still great songs on there, but it not
does
all.
For me.
It's not. It doesn't hold up as well as some of these other artists. That's all.
This ain't your list.
Exactly.
It's my list. And when I go back and put on those same Drake songs, I get the same feeling that I did back then because it was great music. He's a great recorder. When you want to say what you say about him, his albums had usually a pretty unique sound and definitely a tone to each one of them, all different and all commercially successful because they were so good. Mm-hmm. And he did. He had more hits than the Beatles. And I know that recent events have skewed the narrative in people's brains. Probably has even changed the way that you
feel like. That's not why my opinion is what it is.
So if you go back and listen to Nothing Was the Same, you're telling me those songs don't slap the same?
No, because you forget. I wasn't a Drake fan from the beginning either. Like I didn't like all of his stuff originally. I came around to him after he'd been around for a few years, and I listened to his stuff, and I enjoyed a lot of his albums and his work. But as I've listened to him for more and more years, as I go back and listen to him more, they just don't. It doesn't hold up as much. It's like some of it really does. Like I said, it just doesn't hold up as much as other stuff I go back and listen to. For me. And that's, I wasn't like the biggest Drake fan from the beginning. I liked him at a point, and I still think he makes good music.
You probably listen to more Drake now than you go back and listen to Michael Jackson's outside of 2 albums. Besides that, what kind of Michael Jackson are you playing on that's outside of Against the Wall and Thriller? You're not.
Yeah, that wasn't the question of what I
what I'm saying is we're going entire catalogs here.
Go back and listen to much of that at all. As catalogs, I'd rather listen to the whole catalog of Michael Jackson than the whole catalog of Drake. Yeah, I would. That's what I said.
Name a song outside of Thriller and Against the Wall right now. You couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I am, once again, this is, all right, and I'm just sitting up here sticking up for Drake, and you know what? When he's dead and gone, Michael Jackson could be celebrated after all the allegations thrown at him. But one man with a grudge against him calls him a pedophile and makes a hit out of it. Everybody's narrative skews like on Drake. That's wild to me.
Yeah, and again, it's not like my opinion was just changed in the last year. It's been trending that way for a lot of years with Drake's and his music.
You even you were making beats based off of things you were inspired by on More Life.
That was 5 years ago. I made a beat called Elderberry, and like I said, there's a lot of his music that I liked in a period of time. It just doesn't age as well as it. I don't know what else to tell you. That's just how it is from my end. His music has not aged well with me.
Well, I'm proud to have Drake on my Mount Rushmore alongside Weezy, Kendrick, and Kanye West.
That's good.
I'll put that catalog against anybody's.
Yeah. Only time will tell.
But we said honorable mentions. You had the Beatles.
Yeah, Prince was going to also be on there. It was between Prince's and Michael Jackson's full catalogs that I was really choosing. Which one, like, I'd rather
Pink Floyd
have. Led Zeppelin also, for me, they have a great catalog. Eminem, great catalog. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, I mean, lots of Taylor Swift, Adele.
Taylor Swift is another artist for me. Like, her first couple albums got good songs on it, but everything in the last 10 years has just not been there for me. Same.
Yeah, but you're judging things off the last 10 years, which is what I'm confused by.
Yeah,
your Michael Jackson. Like, but your Michael Jackson pick, like, what? That's why I was asking off the
because
last
I could rediscover an old album of his and it could be great and I like it and it stands up, and I can go back and it's re-listenable, like it's reapproachable time and time again. Whereas, like, if I've heard one of her new songs or one of Drake's new songs, I could be like, that's fine. But then, like, if I hear it a second time, I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm kind of done. I don't need to hear this song a third time.
We don't all have Quincy Jones producing all of our music.
It's true. I think there's a lot of music that's made these days that just isn't made with the same amount of attention and care because it's all about putting out more content, not better content. But it was also pushed to put out more content even in the heydays of music industry. And
we're probably leaving
80s.
off things like Wu-Tang Clan, which I'm just not informed about to,
Yeah, or like a Tool catalog. Obviously, big Tool fans and all those kind. I mean, it's like
this kind of Mount Rushmore is designed to
very
piss people
subjective,
off, right?
Yeah, it is. Of course, somebody's going to feel slighted. Somebody's going to be like, "I can't believe you guys didn't pick REM or whatever." Who knows?
Are we the asshole?
Are we the asshole? Leo.
That's professional transitions here, guys.
You just can't teach things like that.
You can't. Not in journalism school.
Definitely not in journalism school.
We're transitioning with the best of them. And then after this, I also would new segment I'm going to say for the very end is going to be errors and omissions from last episode.
Okay. Yeah. Good for you for remembering them because I always forget.
Well, people tell me.
People tell me. All right. So we got a good one there. They ask if, am I the asshole for not tipping a waitress on a $300+ tab? Yes. That is the headline. And I figured, yeah, the initial headline would get that reaction from you. I'll read it, give you the details here, see what you think at the end.
I'm going to close my eyes and put myself in their shoes.
And I'm just reading off the script here.
Okay.
Clear the lines. Am I the asshole for not tipping a waitress on a $300+ tab? The other day, my friend's girlfriend broke up with him, so the boys and I decided to take him to a club to cheer him up. I was the last to arrive, and they had already gotten a table and were all drinking alcohol. When the waitress came up to me and asked what I wanted to drink, I couldn't have alcohol because of a medicine I'm on, so I ordered a Sprite. She gave me an awkward smile and said, okay. 10 minutes went by and I still hadn't received my Sprite. However, she came back and asked my friends at the same table if they wanted another round. They all said yes, and then they ordered shots as well. I reminded her about my Sprite, and she nodded and left. She then brought all the alcohol and shots back for my friends, but still no Sprite. About 10 to 20 minutes later, she returned and asked how we were doing. Everybody said they were fine, and I said I still hadn't gotten my Sprite yet. She nodded again and didn't even walk back to the bar. Instead, she started talking to another girl. After waiting an additional 10 or so minutes, I decided to go to the bar myself and get a Sprite and a water. I paid the bartender, left a tip, and went back to the table. We hung out for another few hours. My friends drinking a lot of alcohol and eating hors d'oeuvres. Who says hors d'oeuvres? Fucking appetizers, dude. When we were ready to leave, she brought our checks and gave me one for the Sprite that she never brought. I told her, you never gave me the Sprite. I got it from the bar. She responded, oh, the bar transferred it to me. I replied, no, I paid the bar. She said, okay, took the check away. I don't know why I was so upset about the Sprite. It's just a Sprite. But my friends were also upset that I was being treated that way. So they all paid their tabs, left no tip, and wrote on the checks, you should have brought my friend a Sprite. I think it's messed up not to leave tips, and I would have told them not to do that if they had let me know in advance, because people rely on that money for their livelihoods. But I also don't like being discriminated against because I can't drink alcohol due to my medications. Do you think we were being assholes for not leaving a tip? And go.
10,000%. Yes, you are the asshole. Like, guys, let me tell you. I don't think she was purposely. I think he's misreading, and his whole little. She gave me a half smile. Obviously, when she realized, like, oh yeah, like, it's a mistake that happens. But when you have a $300 table, like, and they're drinking it. First of all, you're there for 5 hours, and the tab's only $300. Like, that is crazy work, dude. Like, if you're there for 5 hours drinking the whole time, and your tab,
it just said another few hours.
Okay.
So it could be like
he already came there after they were there.
Let's say 3 hours. They were there for 3 hours drinking. $300 tab.
That's fucking banana lands, and it seems like she was very timely with their drinks. When you're serving, yes,
but not the
you
Sprite.
would like to think you don't forget the fucking Sprite, and that sucks. But he didn't pay for it, and when he brought it up, like, yeah, he did remind her several times. But she's probably in the mode of, like, let me make sure these people that are spending a lot of money are going to be taken care of
on the drinks.
Like, I'm not saying it's not right that she didn't bring the Sprite, but for all the friends not to tip, no, you were looking for any chance you got. No wonder the girlfriend left that bitch ass friend, dude. Once again,
because he comes up with these reasons not to
the
tip.
People leaving the "Am I the asshole?" Like, yes, you are the asshole.
Well,
that girl was forgetful and maybe not the best server, but it seemed like they were getting their shots and drinks in a timely manner. And yes, you're the forefront of your mind is not to bring this fucking Sprite for this guy who sat there. He didn't even say he ordered any food. Like, that's annoing.
Yeah, he's like, I got a Sprite and she didn't bring it to me.
Yes, she should have just brought you the fucking Sprite. I agree with that. And that was, but like, overall, like, her mindset was probably like, let me make sure these people are happy that are spending a lot of money, because that's where her bread and butter is coming. Yeah. Now it is so easy, but like, you get caught up in making sure that all these people who are paying $8 to $10 a shot are getting their drinks. It just keeps slipping your mind. Like, I've been there. Now, not to that extent where somebody's brought up 3 times. Mm-hmm. But, like, for all the friends not to tip, like, you guys got your drinks and you guys ordered food. This fucking
they're using this situation as an example. Well, you didn't get our friend his Sprite he ordered.
Fuck that guy. I hope his Sprite was flat when he got it. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, I think you are the asshole in general just for coming there and only ordering a Sprite.
Hell,
and then, like, keep bringing it up. It's like, dude, you're not even ordering food or anything. You came there after everyone. That's so fucking annoying. Like,
right. Now, I'm with you. I would have still, if I was one of the friends and I was eating and drinking and she brought me my regular check and I paid it, I would tip her, normally. I would tip her normally. I'd be like, damn, I think it's kind of still messed up that, she ignored you because you wanted a Sprite.
Just go to the bar in the first place to get the Sprite, and then you tell the server, hey, I'm just getting a Sprite. I just got it from the bar because you're concentrating on my friends and drinks. And, like,
I mean, you don't have to tell them all that or whatever, but.
Well, he wants to make his whole big fucking thing about
it. Once I have if I have my bill and I was the one eating and drinking, I'm still tipping because I was taken care of. Sorry that she was an asshole to you. You don't have to tip. You didn't tip. But to use it as an excuse for you to not tip seems messed up.
And if I know losers on Reddit the way I think I do, which it is a cesspool of just fucking losers, I bet you read the first comment and they're all just, like, talking them up and saying how right.
Comment is mostly saying that this guy is not the asshole.
I knew it.
People on Reddit love to come up with reasons why they shouldn't tip.
Incels. Fuck all of them.
And all of them are like, I've worked as a bartender or barista. That kind of behavior doesn't deserve no tip. It just doesn't deserve a tip. Also deserves a call to the bar owner to let them know why the waitress didn't get the tip. That's the top comment.
Because you forgot a fucking Sprite?
Yeah.
It's not like she said, like, oh, I was expecting, like, and I was going to be open to if she was being rude and be like, no, you need to get a drink or nothing. She just forgot the Sprite, and, like, she kept forgetting the Sprite because they were also continuously ordering shots in the middle. Right. It's like, it's crazy.
No, I agree. And I saw this similar kind of thing play out when we went to Cyberg's downtown before the Biz Dash last week with Jamie's company, and they were doing like a happy hour thing for their employees, and people were ordering stuff, and naturally the server's behind, and it had been a good amount of time, and somebody was still waiting on their original drink and food order, and And people were like, "Oh my god, it's taking you so long," and this and that. I'm like, "Well, don't you see that she's got a million things happening?" And then like she just brought a drink back that you ordered after that person ordered. So like clearly they're out of order with the stuff that they're bringing. Like, yeah, people just have no chill. They have no chill when it comes to restaurant workers for whatever reason. They expect absolute attention and absolute perfection at all the time.
I don't understand. It seems like 30 minutes had passed in this time that he asked her 3 times. Like, there's a bar there. You obviously end up going and doing that anyway. Right. That would happen after the first 10 minutes without my Sprite. And then next time a server comes over, be like, hey, don't worry about my Sprite. I just paid the bartender. Yeah. That is how that could have been handled.
Right.
He is the asshole 10,000%. And all their girlfriends should leave all of them. They're all losers.
Beta boys.
And obviously he was sitting there complaining and crying about it enough that it was heavy enough in their friend's mind to leave that impact.
Because I'm sure it was always like, didn't bring my Sprite, guys.
So we are like, 2 for 2 on these people being asked.
Why didn't she bring Dave's fucking Sprite? We all got our shots and all these beers that we ordered, but poor Dave's over here. He can't even get a Sprite. Yeah, we're not going to leave a tip. Fuck this server. How you guys doing over here? Oh, we're good. Everything's good. Don't worry about us. That's that type of attitude that those people have. Everything's good if you ask them, but then they're just talking mad shit on the server behind their back. And like you said, the echo chamber of Reddit, everybody's trying to say that this guy's not the asshole.
I knew that all the comments would be saying that. That's why I deleted Reddit, dude. It's just fucking insane. Losers.
No, I'm on your side. That guy is an asshole for not tipping. Because he wasn't, the $300 tab wasn't even because of his slight. Like, that's what's fucking me up. Like, all these other dudes that dipped out on their tabs, they're the assholes. I mean, the guy with the Sprite, also an asshole, but not as big of assholes as his buddies, really. What do you think? They're all assholes, but who's the bigger asshole?
Well, I'm still saying the original poster, because he obviously made it a big deal to his friends. Yeah. Like if they're drinking and shit, you think like if he wasn't,
she clearly hasn't brought me a Sprite because she's making fun of me because of my medicine.
Yeah, that's what he thought. Fucking pussy, dude. Victim ass. God, man, loser. Loserville loser.
Let's see if we could trigger Xavier this week.
It's just crazy, dude.
Yeah. So that's our Am I the Asshole this week. And we say you are an asshole, as a matter of fact. I don't give a shit what Reddit says.
Was that the #1 post of all time?
No. That was only from 8 days ago, but it had a lot of engagement.
Okay.
But it had like that #1 comment. And there was, like I said, a lot of them saying that this guy wasn't the asshole. That had 1,500 upvotes saying he wasn't the asshole.
He is the asshole. I wish we would have read the comments from the last one, too. I want to start making that a part of this segment.
Read the comments from the last one?
I want to just hear segments for once, be like, yeah, you are the fucking asshole.
Oh, you said where somebody like calls him the asshole?
Yeah.
That happens. I'll keep more an eye out for those ones.
And then errors and omissions. Okay, last week we did the drink Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I drafted Yoo-Hoo.
Yeah.
Ooh. And it was brought to my attention. It was a perfect moment to bring up the fact that a Yoo-Hoo bottle ended up being the demise of the Geostorm.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if you wanted to tell that story.
Yeah. Shouts out to the first car, the Geostorm. So, we were riding back from somewhere, school or something, right? Maybe. Where were we coming back from? No, it was coming back because we were heading towards Kings Highway. Yeah. So it was coming back from something. Maybe it was at school or whatever. We're coming back. We're driving along. Xavier's in the back seat. I think Brant's in the passenger. We're riding. We're vibing. Windows down. Nice day. We got the Yoo-Hoo bottles half full. I can't even remember. It was like an old one or something. Something was gross about it. Like it wasn't just Yoo-Hoo. There was something else in it that in my mind was like gross about it. I'm telling you.
Got a pee in it?
I don't think it was. I don't know what it was. There was something in it. I can't remember. Like food bits. Like something made it gross. Like it wasn't just like a regular half of Yoo-Hoo. Because I wouldn't have been like, oh, toss that Yoo-Hoo, right? But
I don't know. You might be painting yourself.
No, I'm telling you, there was some, anyway, it was like, let's get rid of this Yoo-Hoo. That's why we had to let's get it out the car. And so you were going to pour it from the back seat, I guess, I believe. And as you're pouring it,
I
I'm like,
want to throw the whole bottle, right?
I don't remember. I think it was just like, let's pour it out because it's gross. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it had to have been gross to want to pour it out. And, so you're like reaching out the window to pour it out. And I'm like focused on it thinking like, oh shit, this is going to get all over the side of the car. So
Kings
I'm
Highway
like,
in Olathe, right?
no, not there. We were just on Olathe, just east of Mackland, just west of Kings Highway. Yeah, and so we're kind of coming around this bend, and I'm looking over, paying attention to you pouring the Yoo-hoo out the window, and the car, had a natural pull to it. It didn't drive straight as it is, so we just kind of, the whole front fender of the car clipped the light pole. It said, blink! It wasn't a direct shot or nothing, thank God.
Head smacked the back of the windshield, dude.
Yeah, made pretty solid contact with the thing. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't direct, thank God. We really been, like, feeling that one.
But it totaled it.
Well, yeah, it broke the wheel. So, I mean, that car was not worth a lot of money. Total, it just means that it would cost more to fix than it's worth. Like, people say, well, total the car. Well, the car was worth $500. It doesn't take much to total a $500 car.
Because my head enough was already pressed against the back windshield.
Yeah, small back seat, not meant for.
And I just remember, like, thank God, if it did hit harder, my head's going through that shit.
Could have been, yeah, at least leaving the spider cracks. Errors and omissions. Shout out Geostorm and tossing out the Yoo-hoo. Thanks, Brant Sanchez, for reminding Nick, I guess.
Or somebody.
Who else would have been in the car? What do you
Brant
mean?
Sanchez.
Yeah, why? What's the secrecy here? What are we keeping big secrets from? Who doesn't need to know who's telling you about the Yoo-hoo out the car incident? He said, I don't know. All right. Anything coming up you're looking forward to, Xavier?
Nope. Oh, yeah, seeing Friendship this weekend.
Ooh, we're going to go see Friendship this weekend. We got talked about seeing that. Tim Robinson, excited for that one.
Paul Rudd.
We're going to maybe see Brady for some bruncheon action.
At Hatched.
At Hatched.
Proud sponsor.
Yep, number one sponsor. Longtime sponsor of the show.
Yeah. Oh, year in almost. Over a year, right?
Yeah. Speaking of sponsors, I saw like 2 Design Air heating cooling trucks at the old Quick Trip today. And I was like, very, very close. The guy getting out of the truck, it was like a younger kid, and he had his AirPods in, so I didn't say anything. But if he didn't have his AirPods in, I would have been like, "Hey, Seth Goldcamp was my history teacher in 5th grade. Tell him I said hi."
We need a sponsor too. Design Air.
Heating and cooling.
And we're really gonna be on the big things.
Big things coming up. Stay tuned. So yeah, feeling
Episode
good.
44 next week. A plethora of athletes to choose from there.
Pronger, named it.
Whoa,
Hold it.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, got it first. Dibs.
All right, episode 45 next week. We will be omitting episode 44. And in the meantime, love everybody and